Soft life is always a fun. Welcome back.
I got thrown out of the meeting. I'm guessing my network was too excited. I was just saying that the final part of this meeting, not the final part, but the highlight of this meeting is that this is not a regular Learntor meeting. It's a special one, and we have a training facilitator all the way from the World Championship of Public Speaking, our third place, the person who placed third place, coming all the way to our club to deliver this particular training on how to speak and how to write like a champ. So please, whatever you have done, clear your calendar, stay focused on this meeting, and I promise you, you're going to leave here with something special that you're going to remember for a long time. So on that note, I will welcome the General Evaluator. Our General Evaluator is joining us all the way from Toronto, Canada. And this is her profile. Can I see, is it going to be displayed or, okay. Zoom Master, please confirm it's going to pop up on the screen.
We do not have a profile up. Apologies, I didn't get it.
That's okay, no worries.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So Toastmaster Anya is joining us all the way from Toronto, Canada. I heard her introducing herself while we were in the meeting room. I'll get to read her profile before. So I'll get to read her profile before we step out of this meeting. Kindly confirm you can still hear me, please.
Yes, we can.
I can hear you.
Yes, we can.
So I'm welcoming the General Evaluator, Toastmaster Anya Gangor, to come on stage and introduce her team of timer, counter, and grammarian. Thank you, ma'am. Please welcome her with a warm round of applause.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here with you today. And this is my favorite part of the meeting. Evaluation. If we wouldn't evaluate in Toastmaster, we couldn't get better at speaking and presenting and leadership and all of that. So I love doing that part of the meeting, and I always have fun with my team and introduce them. So today, as a timer, we have DTM Harriet. So Harriet, would you please tell us what your role will be? Oh, I have to read her introduction. I'm sorry. See, we don't do that in my club. Okay, so there we go. Harriet Tinker, DTM, described as a superwoman, a woman who wears many hats, is a perfect example of finding a need in the community and filling it. Her students know her as powerhouse role model who makes being genuine the most powerful thing. Harriet is a 4-time best-selling author, turning point expert.
Pardon me, G. Points of order. The timer is TM prior. Harriet is the general evaluator. Yes, for the speech evaluator, rather. The table topics evaluator. Yes. Yes.
Thank you for pointing that out. Sorry, I just followed the lead of the G. I didn't actually take notice. Thanks, TM Clem. All right, please, back to you.
It actually, on your agenda, it actually says timer Harriet. Okay, so I'll have to change that. Okay, Priya. Priya from Electronic City, TMC, Bangalore, India. I'm a software engineer by profession with over 15 years of experience. On the personal front, I'm a mom of 2 adorable kids aged 8 and 2. My dream is to become a strong leader and CEO of a global organization. Priya, let us know what you're going to do for us as a timer today, please.
Good morning and good evening. A very good evening to fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I'll be acting as the timer of the day. Everyone knows time and tide waits for no one. The success of a Toastmaster meeting highly depends on adhering to the timelines. So today, to assist everyone to maintain the time, I'm going to act as the role of a timer and indicating when the time is up. What I'm going to do is change my background to yellow and red when the time is up. This is how it's going to be. When you meet the time, it will be a green background. And then let's say for the table topics, if the speech is for 2 minutes, at 1 minute is the acceptable time. At 1 minute, I will be doing a green background. At 1.5 minutes, it will be yellow. And at 2 minutes, it will be red. And it will continue being red until the speaker finishes speaking. I will also assist the keynote speaker. Her speech timing is 15 minutes. So at 10 minutes, I will show a green. At 13 minutes, I will show a yellow. And at 15 minutes, I will show her red card to indicate the duration of her speech. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator. You are on mute. We are unable to hear.
My next role is the grammarian. Can you just confirm who that is, please? Is it Greg?
Absolutely,
That's
yes.
correct.
Okay, will you display his profile, please? Thank you. Greg, I'm not sure if I can pronounce your last name correctly, so I'll just go over that. And Greg is an English doctor and elocution expert. He helps adults alongside children to achieve proficiency in English as well as presentation skills. Craig is certified to teach English worldwide by the International TEFL Training Institute, New York School of English, USA. Besides, he's the author of the book entitled Elevate Your Expressions. Craig is the immediate past president of Merit Toastmaster Club, and remarkably, he's the 2021 District Speech Evaluation Champion. And with that, I will turn over the meeting to Craig to explain his grammarian role to us. Thank you.
Madam Chief Evaluator, thank you most kindly for the eloquence of your introductory remarks. Our Project 4 of the Toastmasters Competence Communication Manual stated in categorical terms that good grammar and proper pronunciation are major factors in our ability to influence the audience. That's because audiences perceive both of them as the indicators of a credible speaker. To this extent, my principal responsibility as the grammarian is to provide developmental constructive feedback on the basis of our grammatical structures, our pronunciation, our vocabulary, and whatnot. Words are the currency of communication, aren't they? As a consequence, my second responsibility is to expand our mental lexicon by sharing the word of the day. What is the word of the day? I hear you ask. It's whip smart. Can I hear you all say whip smart?
Whip smart.
Whip smart.
Smart.
Right. This word is grammatically speaking an adjective. It means extremely clever or smart. Kehinde, kindly mute your microphone. Grammatically speaking, it's an adjective and it means extremely clever. Synonyms are clever, keen, perceptive. Example, it is whip smart to develop our vocabulary. I would encourage you to use this word. The highest user will get a soft copy of my book, Elevate Your Expressions. I'll be back to provide my report during the evaluation segment. It's back to you, our Whip Smart Chief Evaluator.
Thank you, Craig. I think that's a wonderful word. So let's all be very whip smart today in this meeting. And with that, I would call on the next helper that I have on my team, and that's Toastmaster Abraham as our R counter. Can we have his profile up, please? our R counter, Abraham. And that's one thing that we really want to use less, these darn filler words. So Abraham is an award-winning innovation expert, poet, software developer, and project management professional with a master's degree in industrial production engineering. He's an alumnus of the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, and the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. I hope I don't screw up your names here. Hobbies are writing, researching, and traveling. He has garnered over 30 certifications in the field of engineering, software development, and financial intelligence from distinguished institutions like Harvard Medical School, WHO, and more. He looks after 3 brands, Richfield Group's Better Drive Ltd. And the Martech NG, and he has a publication in his name. His favorite quote is, "When you insist nothing but best, you always get it." And over to you, Abraham, to explain your role, please.
Good afternoon, good morning. Please confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Oh, good afternoon, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests. I will be your hack counter for today's meeting. And as the hack counter for today's meeting, I will be noting overused words, unnecessary filler sounds by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may actually be inappropriate interjections, such as and, so, well, you know, but, and sounds may be sounds like her, whom, her, etc. I'll be taking note of all this, and I'll give a report towards the end of the meeting. Thanks for having me, and back to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Abraham. And next we have our listening evaluator. If we can please have Deborah's, Toastmaster Deborah's profile up. Deborah, listening evaluator. I always tell all my other club members, listening is one of the most important things we can learn in Toastmasters, because if we become better listeners, we're better communicators. So Deborah here Khan is a nutritionist and communication coach. She enjoys teaching as it affords her the opportunity to interact and learn from other perspectives. Her favorite quote is, "No matter how hard the wind holds, the mountains will never bow to it." And that's a Chinese proverb. And over to you, Deborah, to explain your role, please.
Thank you so much, the general evaluator. I was taken by surprise with the way you pronounce my second name so accurately. That's a first. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Toastmasters and guests, wherever you may be joining us from. Deborah Tannen of Georgetown University says that listening is a sign of respect to the speaker. And at Toastmasters, we are learning to be effective communicators and leaders. And you cannot do this without active listening. My job as the listening evaluator today would be to watch out and listen alongside you to all the speeches and role players as they perform their duties today. And at the end of today's meeting, I'll be back to find out if you are really listening. But one thing I need to leave you with is to remember that listening is a sign of respect. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be serving with my team today, and I think you're all going to be really whip smart. And I'll turn the mic back to our Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day, Pamela, are you in the house?
She was thrown out of the meeting. I think she's just joining in back.
Madam Elizabeth,
Yes,
Madam President, if this keeps happening, then this meeting will not end on time today. I will request that somebody can always step into the bridge when she's out.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you so much for that. Yes, please, Toastmaster Elizabeth, you can help me if that happens. Today is one of those days. So thank you to General Evaluator Toastmaster Aya. You and your team did a fantastic job in telling us what to do, what to expect, and the things you are hoping that we are going to do and how well we're going to do in this meeting. So thank you so much. We will then be going to the next section. But before I do that, I want to read the few, I still have a lot of chats that came in when we made those requests. So we have DTM Chidi Chukudimadu, who her response was Soft Life Gang member. It's about being a soft level meeting filled with engaging and enthralling moments. So that is what she's looking forward to in this particular meeting. And I'll take one more from our general evaluator. She says, greetings from Resilient Entrepreneurs International Advanced and Speed River Toastmasters Club, all the way from Ontario, Canada. She's the president, and of course, she just put down her nomenclature, her area, and all that. So thank you so much for joining us. We proceed in this meeting, and before we go into the next thing we have on our agenda, we are supposed to take the prepared speeches section. But for today's prepared speeches, we have just one speech. And guess who is going to be doing that? Our speaker is Toastmaster Olushola. But before I bring him on stage, I would like to introduce the evaluator of that particular speech, Toastmaster Olonrutobi. Toastmaster Olonrutobi, kindly confirm you are on this call.
Yes, I am. Toastmaster
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So Toastmaster Olonrutobi is a fellow HR professional. She's a HR consultant with over 10 years professional experience, end-to-end human resources, talent management, and consulting. She's a director and business manager at Marble Clare Limited, where she has helped countless number of people within nonprofit organizations and private organizations. She has a first and second degree from University of Ibadan, and she is a YALI Fellow, that's Young African Leadership Initiative. She's a Cherry Blair Foundation. She's also part of the Cherry Blair Foundation for Women Alumni and an ardent believer of possibilities. She loves sightseeing, exploring life, and meeting interesting people. Please join me as I welcome on stage Toastmaster Olonrutobi to share her expectations for our first speaker, Toastmaster Olushola.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pamela. It's great to have you on board. Am I being heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Loud and clear.
All right, thank you. So as mentioned, I'm the evaluator for Toastmaster Olushola Olakomi, and his speech title is Leadership Through Actions, the Ngozi Story, and his speech is for level 3 of the Persuasive Influence track. So the purpose of the speech is for the member to practice using story within a speech and giving a speech that is story-based. So we are going to be following through, and I'll be back to provide my evaluation at the end of the speech. So Toastmaster Olushola, you're welcome.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction. Toastmaster Olushola is a digital and payments executive with experience spanning technical operations, product management, and business development roles within the Nigerian financial services sector for over 2 decades. He's a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and he studied electrical and electronic engineering with a Master of Business Administration, also in that same field. He holds a number of certifications from the Retail Banking Academy, Project Management Institute, and American Society for Quality, in addition to International Web Association, amongst others. Away from work, he loves volunteering his time to several nonprofits, reading, nurturing young talents, traveling, listening to music, and so much more. He is happily married with children. Join me as I welcome on stage Toastmaster Olushola as he takes on this topic, leadership through actions, the Ngozi story.
Sorry to interrupt. Before the speech, may I understand the speech duration? Is it 5 to 7 minutes?
5 to 7 minutes, correct.
Okay,
5 to 7 minutes.
Sure. Dear speaker, at 5 minutes, I'll show the green. At 6 minutes, I'll show the yellow. And at 7 minutes, I'll show the red card. All the best to your speech.
Thank you. Please confirm I'm being heard.
Loud and clear, sir.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have you ever felt the pulse of leadership beneath the African sun, where the winds of change carries tales of resilience and wisdom? Tonight, let me take you on a journey to a bustling market town in the heart of Nigeria, West Africa, where a man named Ngozi exemplifies the power of leadership through actions. In the tapestry of life, leadership often conjures images of power, title, and authority, where some whip-smart people demand rather than give. However, today, we will be listening to the story of a man who influences a community through his actions and the way he treats the people around him. In the heart of Nigeria, in a bustling market town, there lived a whip-smart man named Ngozi. Ngozi was neither a chief, neither was he a titled leader, but his influence stretched far beyond the boundaries of a small community. Ngozi was a humble trader who sold vibrant fabrics in the local market. But what set him apart wasn't the quality of his goods, but rather the way Ngozi treated those around him. He believed in the power of leading by example. One day, a heavy rainstorm swept through the town, flooding the entire market square. Traders scrambled to protect their wares, and chaos loomed all over the place. Amidst all of this turmoil, Ngozi grabbed a makeshift broom and started clearing the water away. Others hesitated, confused, unsure of where to begin. As Ngozi worked in his whip-smart way, his determination and positive energy became contagious. Soon, other traders joined him, sweeping away the water and helping each other salvage their goods. In an instant, the market transformed from a scene of complete disarray to a symbol of communal influence. Through all of this, Ngozi's actions spoke louder than words. He didn't need a title or a formal position to lead. He led through service and collaboration. The community started to look for Ngozi's guidance during challenging periods, not because he demanded it, but because he had earned their trust through his actions. In times of decision-making, Ngozi will gather the opinions of the people around him, valuing each voice and perspective. Ngozi loved multiple perspectives. His leadership style was one that fostered unity, and people felt a sense of ownership in their collective journey. With smart leadership, Ngozi believed that leadership wasn't about commanding from the front. It was about walking alongside others, understanding their struggles, and empowering them to rise above their challenges. His approach was one that cultivated a spirit of togetherness, which made the entire community stronger. As we reflect on this story of Ngozi, it reminds me of a leadership quote by one of the world's greatest leadership experts, John Maxwell, who says, leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let us reflect on Ngozi's story and how it relates to each of us. Remember, leadership is not about the position that you hold. It's about the actions you take. It's about the lives you touch and the positive change that you inspire. And as we go into the Yuletide season and start to even prepare for a new year that is incoming, I'd like to challenge each of you to allow the Ngozi spirit in your heart to shine forth, ready to make a difference wherever you find yourself, whether that be in your families, in the marketplace, or your community. Let your influence shine forth. Thank you very much. And on that note, allow me to turn it back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
What a fantastic way to end that speech. That was great. Do it the Ngozi way. Do it the Ngozi way. And always remember to always be whip smart when you go about your business and leading without having to have a title. Just do it and make it happen. Thank you so much for that speech. Next, we will go over to our table topic session. But before I introduce the table topic master, please take 1 minute, just 1 minute. Timer, please help me here. 1 minute, send love notes. Just send love notes to the speaker. How well has he done? Encourage him. Is there any recommendation you have personally? Please just put it in the chat box, and I think that would help. He would also get an evaluation, but your kind words will help. I will be introducing the table topics master. I know she's somewhere and she is ready, but guess what? Her profile is as long. If we lay it down back to back on paper, it will be all the way from Akure to Toronto, Canada. I promise you. But this distinguished Toastmaster Chidi Chukwudimadu is currently serving as the co-chair for District 94 Education and Training Committee. She is one of those special people that has shown proficiency in 6 pathways. Some of us are on 1 and 2 and 3, but she's on 6 already. And I guess she's planning to knock all of them out of the park and ask Toastmasters International to create a new pathway just to ensure that they can keep up with her. Beyond her professional pursuits, she finds joy in reading, volunteering, dancing, watching movies, and exploring combat sports in her leisure. So don't come and play with her. She can punch you at any time if you're up for it. But her mantra is embracing Kaizen, which is continuous improvement. She's a lovely soul, and I will welcome her in a bit. But I see that you have all sent your love notes to Toastmaster Olushola. And on that note, join me to welcome DTM Chidi Chukwudimadu as she takes us on for the table topic session. You're welcome.
Thank you most graciously, our delectable Toastmaster of the day, for that enthralling and enchanting introduction. I dare say you look smashing this afternoon, and that indeed was a whip smart way of introducing me. Oh, but I was like, are you really sure it's me you're introducing? You Soft Life Gang members have a way of just making your mind blow. So thank you for that endearing introduction. I can see my president smiling, the queen of the Soft Life Gang. For Toastmasters and guests, it's table topics time. And aside the evaluation segment, this is by far my best segment in a Toastmasters meeting. Does anybody want to ask me why this is my best segment? Anybody interested in knowing why it's my best segment? Or should I just go ahead and show you why? You want to know why?
Why? Yes.
It's my second best segment outside evaluation because I get to be in charge. At this point, I have the authority, the power to call on anybody I want if I so wish and ask that person any question that I desire, and the person would not have a choice but to answer. But sometimes I come and I'm in a good mood. Like today, I'm excited because I get to learn from a champ. So I would give everyone on the call an opportunity to demonstrate why we are all champs. Champs currently or champs in the making. But you see, Table Topics is a segment of a Toastmasters meeting where we learn in a smart manner how to speak on our feet. Impromptu speaking. Because the truth is, we do not know when we'll have the opportunity to sell ourselves. And selling ourselves is by far one of the hardest things we as humans can do. So here we are in the Toastmasters meeting, a positive environment where we learn by doing. On that note, I would encourage everyone on the call, especially if you do not have a speaking role today, to please volunteer by indicating either with your hand, physically putting on your video and raising your hand, or using the reaction button to raise your hand. I will read out a question because I'm in a good mood, and then I would ask for a volunteer. So everyone has the opportunity to actually think about the question.
All right, we already have 2 hands raised. DTM Chidi.
I'm feeling like a superstar today. Where do I start from? All right, Bibuda, I will start from you because you're the first champ who has raised your hand. My question is this. Let me ask you first. In which space do you play? Are you in the business field? Are you in agri? Are you in the medical field? Are you in consulting? Are you in tech?
So I am into tourism and hospitality. So that's my industry. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Toastmaster of the Buddha. If you had to sell India as a tourist location to me, how would you do that as a charm? If you have to sell India as a tourist location to me, for context, I'm a Nigerian. Sell India to me as a tourist location.
Okay.
The word of the day is whip smart, so I encourage you to try to use it in your response.
Yeah. Okay. So India is a really beautiful country because it is neighbor to Sri Lanka where I live. And India has a lot of beautiful, gorgeous sites like the Taj Mahal and many other things that it is very different to other countries because normally we have, especially in Sri Lanka, we have the everyday Anuradhapura and Naru, but in Taj Mahal, in India, it is totally different. There are a lot of beautiful cities, locations, mainly Bombay, one of the busiest and the most beautiful cities. And it is one of the most, and also Chennai also is a very beautiful city. And in India, there are very friendly people who also are very friendly people who you get to talk to and get to know them because it doesn't hurt to know about different culture, right? So all of us, so it is very interesting if we could go out there and get to know new people, possibly learn their language, which is Hindi. One of the I have never except for India, I have never seen anywhere, any country, not even in Sri Lanka, no one speaks Hindi because it is a very unique and a very different language, it is difficult. But if you get to learn about that language, it is very easy to, and also understanding Hindi films. If I'm into Hindi films, I would love to learn Hindi because in order to understand that vibe, it is very good to know because there are many things that we can know, and we can know because it is very different from any country, and people are friendly. They are very, and also they are very different and very interesting. Most of our tourists hasn't been on tuk-tuks differently, except for Sri Lanka. India, it's totally different, and it is a very good experience. That is, we can get the experience of a real three-wheel or a tuk-tuk. That is really, you can go out there and tell someone, I got a ride, I went on a tuk-tuk. I'm pretty sure you haven't been there, you haven't been on a tuk, but I have. So you can, it is really unique and different if you were to go to India, it is really good. Yeah, that's my over to you, table topic master.
Wow, thank you most graciously. That was a whip-smart response from you. You know where you sold me, where you got me, when you mentioned Chennai. I just remember Chennai Express as an Indian movie that I watched, and I still remember it to this day. And I agree. Indians are very lovely people. We've got a lot of Indian friends, and one of them is always bringing me delicacies from India. Always. Each time he comes to the office, he's got something for us to try out. Spicy stuff, sweet stuff, funny, tasty stuff. Well, I mean, they're all fine. So thank you for selling India to me. All right. Wow. Okay, so I'll take it in this order. I'll take E.T., then I'll take Yusuf, and then Musumola. All right?
Yes.
All right, E.T., over to you. Let me ask, what's your field? Or do you want me to just challenge you and ask you any question?
Challenge.
How do you want this to go, E.T.? Do you want me to challenge you like a champ this afternoon?
Yes, challenge. Challenge.
All right. Okay. Now, E.T., imagine you are an artist. Imagine that you're an artist and at this point, you're an art instructor. How do you guide a novice into creating a masterpiece? How would you guide a novice into creating an art masterpiece?
Can you hear me and see me before I start? Hello?
Yes,
Can you hear me and see me? Oh, okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I start. Hola, fellow novice. How are you today? It is very good. And I'm as your mentor here as a guide. And I do believe that you are whip smart novice, that you are coming here because you are choosing the right mentor. And yes, I'm here to guide you. I will give you step by steps to become a podcaster. Imagine you have an idea in your brain. What do you want to say to your audience? Do you want to have a message on them? Or you just want to tell information to your audience? And imagine if your audience is always trying to tune in into your station. Do you want to feel like you are a whip smart person? Or you are just a regular person? Well, it's all up to you. I'm here as your mentor, especially in broadcasting. I will tell you immediately that they not only listen to your voice, but your writing, how you promote your radio or podcast. It is also the most important thing. How you can make it into a visual or even an audio or even some gimmicks that they will stay tuned to you. One big question after you listen to these two tips that I can give you is, when will you start your podcast program? Is this 2023 or next year? It is the last month of 2023. I do believe that you are whip smart, that you want to make it before 2024. Back to you, ETM.
Fantastic. Absolutely whip smart response. If there's anything I love is how you gave it back to the trainee and you sat there as a mentor, guiding and challenging the person. Thank you for sharing with us, E.T. Thank you very kindly. And again, that was a whip smart response. Okay, my next volunteer, Yusuf.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Hi. All right, let me give you the, but how do you want me to challenge you by asking you any question, or do you want to select a field and then I ask a question based on that field?
Select the question.
Select the question. Absolutely. Let me ask you, do you like food?
Yes, I love food.
Ah, fantastic. You're a man after my heart. All right, yourself. My question is this. If you were to impart a smart wisdom on mastering a new recipe to a chef, what culinary delight will you choose? What delight will you choose, and why will you choose it? If you have to impart a whip smart mode of mastering a new delicacy to a chef, what culinary delight will you choose and why?
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I come from Indonesia. You know, Indonesia in Southeast Asia, very far away country from Nigeria. We have delicious food here. You can choose. If you are not vegetarian, you can have what we call rendang. It's a kind of steak made from beef. It's made in a coconut milk. You know, you boil the beef, the steak, the beef with spices. It's a little bit hot and red spices because we use red chilies. It's so spicy and delicious. The meat will be so tender. Even the babies can eat it without any teeth because we cook it for hours and hours until all the spices is absorbed in the meat. And we usually eat this kind of meat, this kind of dish with a soup, a kind of soup which is made from beans, red bean soup. It's so delicious. You have got the soup, you have got the beef, you have got the bean curd, and also we have got some veggies. So if you eat that things, you will forget your mother-in-law. You will forget your husband, even your children, because you will be absorbed in eating the meat. Very, very tender and delicious. So if you want to try it, come to Indonesia. I will show you. I will be your guide and take you to all the best food in my country. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Wow, thank you very kindly, Yusuf. That was as tempting as being invited to go swim in the waters of Tahiti. And I love where you said that the meat will be so soft that even babies can eat it without it. Creates a picture in my mind. And you know one beautiful thing, I love spicy food. Nigerians love spicy food. So don't be surprised when you see all of us from Learntor Toastmasters come visit you in Indonesia for a bit of render. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, let's go to Mosumola. Mosumola, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. Give me a minute.
Wow, sorry about that. Sorry.
All right, Mosumola, my question for you is this. If you have to address us as the champion of the world public speaking, you are the world champion public speaking. You have 2 minutes to address us. Imagine you're giving your acceptance speech. Do that for 2 minutes in a whip smart fashion. World champion.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. That was an daring with smart introduction. So yes, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone. And I was able to get this by everyone's contribution. And I want to say thank you. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a great experience and having to study very hard to present myself. And so yes, I just want to say thank you and believing that I can do this. So to everyone out there that are struggling with their speech making or trying to book, yeah, one day at a time. So yeah, that's my acceptance speech. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly, Mosumola, and thank you for envisioning world champion public speaking. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, thank you so much to everyone who has participated in the table topic segment. Remember, table topics is not just about spontaneous speaking or impromptu speaking. It's about how we feel, how we coordinate our thoughts, and how we communicate them. So I want to encourage us, when you think like a champ. When you speak like a champ. And when you have the opportunity to lead, whether from the front, from the middle, or from the back, lead like a champ. See table topics as a powerful tool for you to improve your communication skills, because not everyone will have the opportunity to do a prepared speech every time, but you have the opportunity to participate in table topics every time you attend a Toastmasters meeting. So thank you, and let us continue to communicate in a whip smart manner and continue to challenge ourselves. I hope to see us all as champions sometime in the future. Madam Toastmaster of the Day, the whip smart member of the Soft Life Gang, you have control of the lectern.
This is how we do it. That's an amazing, whip smart, the smartest, in fact, table topics master I've seen in at least a few weeks. Thank you so much for guiding us in this particular session, and for the interesting people that came on board. The table topics poll is on your screen. Please, it is time to vote. Who was your best speaker? Was it the person who spoke about India and Taj Mahal? Oh, I have a thing for Taj Mahal. My parents took a picture and it's stuck in my head till then. So what is that what you're voting for? Are you voting for Yusuf that made us so hungry? I was salivating the entire time. Who are you going to vote for? Everybody on this call, they came with their A game, with their whip smartness around them, and they came to win. So please, the poll for table topics is going to go on. Zoom Master, please help us with that. I cannot see it on my screen yet. The names I'm seeing are still, please update it so that we can have people take the polls. But in the meantime, please someone is raising their hand. Toastmaster Craig, is that you?
Of course,
yes, please.
Point of order, we need to know how they performed as regards time management.
Okay, all right. Oh, you'd like us to have that before we go into the voting. Okay, that's great. So please, I'll call on the timer, Toastmaster Priya, to please share the timing of how that session went. Thank you.
Entire session went perfectly fine. Though we started 10 minutes late, we finished on time. With regards to the individual speakers, TM Vibhuda spoke for 2 minutes 40 seconds. TM ET spoke for 2 minutes 10 seconds. TM Yusuf spoke for 2 minutes 10 seconds, and TM Mohsen Molla spoke for 45 seconds.
All right, thank you for that. And on that note, we are ready. Zoom Master kindly confirmed that our poll is ready to come on board. The names I can see back end are not updated. Kindly, all right. We are not there yet, Toastmaster Craig.
According to the timekeepers report, not everyone is qualified for voting.
Toastmaster Craig, if we get 30 seconds of grace time, I believe TM ET and TM Yusuf are qualified. TM
Of course,
Vibhuda
and Musimola are not qualified for the voting.
You're right.
So we just have Toastmaster E.T. and Toastmaster Yusuf. So Zoom Master, kindly help us to update the table topic poll.
They can send the poll to you, Madam Tiamodi. Can we send the votes to you, please, to save time? Our votes should go directly to the TMOD, please.
Okay, we are doing DMs, not the polls. Okay, that's fine then. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let's have our votes come to you directly, please. Thank you.
That's okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. So on that note, we'll just segue into the next session. I wanted to thank the table topics evaluator. She said, speak like a champ, think like a champ, and lead like a champ. I think that's my takeaway for that particular session. While we wait for that to come up, we will have this session evaluated by someone else who is also a champ. Kindly confirm, Toastmaster, Madam President, kindly confirm yes, I can please. Take the evaluations. Kindly confirm I can take the evaluations now, and then we'll take the results.
While you're taking, we need to confirm if you've gotten votes. Since we're having a challenge with the poll, you're seeing that. Please let us know. Yeah, let us know. We're 29 of us in the meeting. Let us know if you have gotten all votes. While doing that, you could read the profile of the evaluator. But before she picks the evaluation, confirm you have all the votes, and then we go ahead with the evaluation. Thank you.
All right. Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate that feedback. Okay. So guess who is on board our table topic evaluator for this session? If I start to read her profile, day will come, night will come the next day, and we will still be here. DTM Harriet Tinker is a very whip-smart Toastmaster who has broken a lot of records. She is a runner, and if you are familiar with this movie called Dances with Wolves, I listened to one of her speeches where she said she loves to run barefooted in the woods. And I said, I'm going to rename her Runs with Bears, right? So she says she runs in the wild and there might be wild animals. So my name for her is Runs with Bears. So DTM Harriet Tinker is a superwoman who wears many hats. She is a 4-time best-selling author and a top 28 Toastmaster world champion for public speaking and semi-finalist and an ultra-marathon runner. She's the CEO of the award-winning social enterprise Empower Me Inc., whose mission is to inspire and empower youth to reach unlimited potential. She describes her life as moving from tragic to magic. I will welcome her in a second. I want to confirm how many results we have in here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just 6. So please, I didn't see all of the votes, but I think we'll just take the evaluations. Please send them in as quickly as you can. We are moving on to the next session in a bit. Can I confirm that we can all send our polls? Just send it. Is it Toastmaster Yusuf or is it ET? Those are the 2 people who I believed qualified. Am I correct, please? Okay, I can see.
Yes, you are.
Yes, please. Please just send a direct message to me and then we'll have the table topics evaluation. We don't want that to influence your, okay. To whom do we vote? To the table, to the TMOD, just look for my name, Pamela, and send a direct message. Okay. We will call it a wrap in a bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Poll is closed. I will welcome DTM Harriet Tinker to please take the evaluations for the table topics. You're welcome, DTM Harriet.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Toastmaster of the Day, Pamela. Now I'm excited to be the table topic evaluator for our 4 speakers. What I'll do, I'll give them evaluation of what they did great and where they can consider improving. Our table topic speaker, the first one was, and forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Toastmaster Vibuda. And the question was, sell India to us. You are excited. You couldn't wait to tell us everything about it. You told us a lot. I was looking here, there, and everywhere, and I'm thinking, I need to go to India, because you talked about how beautiful it is, talked about the business. You also talked about no one can speak Hindi, and you said, but it's easy to learn. And I was taken in, and now I want to learn how to speak it. You also tried to compare it to Sri Lanka, which was a little bit confusing because you didn't really exactly say why. But what I really liked the most was your enthusiasm. Areas you could consider tightening up your table topic speech is try to organize your speech so we can follow you. You could talk about India's culture, India's people, India's language, and keep bringing in, you have to come to India. Transporters there, don't tell us about it. Maybe say, imagine walking into this beautiful country. Talk about the culture, the people, and the language. So by organizing it that way, we could be in your imagination. Overall, you absolutely sold me on India, and perhaps this summer I will come visit India and expect you to be the tour guide. Thank you for that enthusiastic speech. Well done. Our next speaker was E.T. I like the name E.T. It actually takes me back to my childhood when I used to watch the movie E.T. Anyway, I'm getting off script. Your question was basically paint us a masterpiece. You had a great introduction. It was engaging, and you used the word of the day. You set it off with an intention, and you painted a picture. I was there. I could feel the imagination. I knew you were painting a photo. And you also you were asking questions to engage us. Do you want to be a regular person or not? I said, no, I don't want to be a regular person. I want to be special. And use good vocal variety. Your volume was up and down, and you were really painting that picture. I like that about your speech. Areas to consider in the future when you're doing your table topic speech is to pause when you ask the question. Pausing is where it's at when you're making a speech. You'd ask a question, do you want to be a regular person or not? See what it did there? It got everybody thinking, and then you engage the audience. So that's when you can consider, it will tighten up your speech. Overall, well done, very enthusiastic, and you painted a great masterpiece. Next, Toastmaster Yusuf. Wow, I am so hungry. Good thing I had breakfast already. Otherwise, I would be running to the kitchen and getting a nice sandwich. But your imagination is, it's outstanding. One of the things that you really have, I think this is your ninja power, is your sense of humor, is the way you paint the picture of what you're sharing. And the way I can guarantee most of us here were hungry. It's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but it was good. You also did talk about, what I really liked is, you forget your husband and your children. I was like, oh, I need to eat this meal. Sold. So that's a good speaker, when you can engage the audience to really take on to the point that you're sharing. Areas to consider as well is similar to what I mentioned to ET, is pause when you speak. Because when you're talking about food, just bring us your world. Imagine these vegetables. Put some spices and sprinkle it. Oh, imagine. So by pausing and talking softly, because most people think you have to be loud, but sometimes speaking softly can really engage the audience. That's the area I would recommend you work on in the future to consider. And I definitely want to come to Indonesia and have that vegetarian meal called redha. Thank you for sharing. Now, our last speaker was Munsumala, and I believe she's a new Toastmaster. And to be fair, she did the best that she could. She quickly thought about, what would I do if I was a world champion for public speaking? She thanked everybody, and it was brief. Though it was brief, I think she made her point. And at Toastmaster here, we're all about uplifting people and encouraging them. So I really like that you took the virtual stage and you shared as much as you can. It shows confidence. We all have a lot to learn. And you prove that even though you have a lot to learn, you don't mind being on the virtual stage. You're willing to take that risk. Overall, well done. And I encourage you to, in the future, maybe speak a little longer. You can make it up and say, thank you. I love being here as a world champion for public speaking. I'll give you the tips on how I became a world champion for public speaking. You can make it up. I'm sure we all can. So overall, well done. And I encourage you to keep taking the virtual stage. And I'll give it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Palmer.
What a way to give feedback on table topic session. It was also a masterclass on how to speak. Thank you most kindly, DTM Harriet. We are ready. If you are ready for the special session this evening, please go to the chat box and just say yes, just type yes and let's go. I'm going to be welcoming our next speaker, who is the facilitator for the session. Prepare that speech like a champ. Mariam Ghani is the one who is going to be handling this session. And guess what? She has been a member of Toastmasters since 2021. She had hopes of being a Toastmaster, and she started working through the ranks and putting in the work. And guess what? She ended up third place on the platform of the World Championship of Public Speaking. She's from Region 9, District 61. Her tagline is, be unstoppable, because I believe everybody has the ability to be unstoppable. Kindly unmute yourselves and give a Learntor warm round of applause for our facilitator, Toastmaster Mariam Ghani. Yeah, the special. What place is not due? Keep going. All right. Thank you, Mokani. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for this amazing introduction and very generous one. I was so excited to be here, and I've been really looking forward for this. Thank you for having me. It started for me in August of 2023. I'm on my way back. I'm in the Bahamas at the airport, on the way back to Montreal, Canada, with 2 trophies in hands. But so many emotions were going on in my head. Emotions from pride to achievement, fulfillment. Yet I felt like I fell short on my goal, on my ambition, on my aspirations. I felt disappointed in myself that I could have done better. I was feeling regret, remorse. I felt like it was a bittersweet win. I felt discouraged for the future, yet motivated that I could maybe write again and start this process again. And as I was lost in my thoughts, I was walking with my head down, with my 2 trophies, having a hard time even carrying my own self because I was so tired and was looking forward to just go back and sleep. And as I stepped on the plane, the hostess, the flight attendant, was guiding me, and I was just following her. And all of a sudden, I heard applause. The entire front rows of the plane started applauding, and then the rest of the plane followed. I put my head up and I realized, wow, this is a good thing. This is actually a positive experience. Maybe I'm just too much in my head, and the way I'm seeing it is not the right way. And the air hostess in front of me turned around, looked at me and said, I want to be a champion too. And I said, well, you are a champion. Everybody here is a champion. And very intuitively, I said that because I love uplifting people. But then I looked at myself and I listened to my internal dialogue, and I realized, why do I not feel like a champion with 2 trophies? But I can tell other people that they are. And I asked myself that question on the plane. Why did I not feel like a champion? The answer is very simple. Self-doubt. Self-doubt is exactly the reason why many people will never take the step to ever try to achieve their dreams, to try to compete, or to try, period. Self-doubt can do so much to stop us. But as I said in my speech, in my final speech, you have no idea how powerful your story and your message can be, and how many people you can touch and impact. Now, how do we write, deliver, prepare? How do we even get to have an impactful speech, an impactful story, and an impactful message? I've put together a couple of points, and I'm going to go through them. I had so much that I wanted to deliver, but in favor of time, I'm going to try to give you as much as possible in the time that I have. I put together 7 points. And these are pieces of wisdom that I would have given. And the way when I was writing it, I was thinking of the old Miriam. What would I tell the old Miriam? What would I want her to know? Because in these points, there are things I wish I had done and other things I did and felt like they worked. So number 1, I put that in the first section because I think that is the base. It's the foundation. It's the number 1 thing to think of. And I called it manage. Because competing on itself is a project. It's a project. Writing a speech is a project. So having to deal with it and manage it is actually was a big challenge for me. And I think it was not just a challenge, but I had to learn as I went. I had to learn to manage it. In that section, I put 3 points. Manage your time, manage your stress, health, and well-being, and manage feedback. The first one, manage your time, I personally had trouble with that because I did not think or expect that I would move on to the next level. It was June 26th, I got a call from someone from my district telling me that I was going to the Bahamas, and I was so shocked and I did not even believe that I would go. And guess what? I had no speech written by that time. I had a vision that came to me in February, but I never developed it into an actual speech. And I think time is of the essence when it comes to speech writing, and especially competing, because it flies, it goes so quickly. And the best way to do well, in my opinion, in a competition is based on what Darren LaCroix told me. He's a previous world champion. He said, Miriam, do not let anybody out prepare you. Be so prepared that you're going to be the most prepared person in the competition. No matter what you're delivering, if you're prepared, you'll do well. You'll come across with confidence, with pride, with poise. And you can even, if anything happens during your speech, you can play around with the words because you're so comfortable with it. And so I thought preparation needs time. And so another person that I really love, his name is Craig Valentine. He said, don't get ready, stay ready. And so that's what I would share with you today. Don't get ready, stay ready. And I would have told myself that even if I didn't know I would make it to the semifinals, I would have still written a speech and used my time to polish, to keep tightening, to keep editing, and to keep perfecting the speech. Now, the next point is managing stress, well-being, and health. I completely neglected my health, my well-being. I was not sleeping. I was almost not drinking any water, not eating, because I was so obsessed with working. And I think it's very important. My mentor, Scott, told me something that stuck with me. I was working on the district speech, and it was around my birthday. And I said, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do anything. And he said, wait a minute. So I don't have time, Scott. He said, no, listen. If you don't live your life, do the things you love, enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to have the right mindset to be able to compete, and it will show on stage. It will show in front of the audience. So being in the right mindset, not resenting yourself for not doing the things you love, is going to put you in the best position to be able to do well in terms of delivering a speech. And he reminded me that he said, Miriam, public speaking is not just an art. It's not just a science. It's both art and a science, but it's mainly psychology. And in that, there is mindset. And so he reminded me that it was very important to take care of myself and to do the things I love so I can be inspired and I can come across the way I want to with the audience. In terms of stress, there's something that a lot of people always ask me, and that's right before delivering a speech. How do you manage your anxiety, your nervousness? How do you lower the stress levels before you start getting on stage. And so many times it happened to me where I start shaking, I feel like I'm getting nervous, I keep getting thirsty. And I think the best way to deal with it is based on a theory by psychologists. And they proved that your brain and our brain does not differentiate between anxiety, nervousness, and excitement. And so I remember someone telling me, turn that anxiety into excitement. Trick your brain. Your brain doesn't make the difference. So tell yourself, I feel excited. And I remember right before stepping on the world stage, I had my friend with me backstage. And the only way I felt like I could deal with it is to keep jumping up and down and kind of sending these messages to my brain. Okay, I'm excited, I'm pumped, I'm about to go. And I remember the adrenaline was so strong, the excitement was so high that I don't even remember feeling nervous at that point. So I hope that can help someone here today. And the third thing is manage your, manage your feedback, manage the feedback that you receive. That was a big thing for me because I was getting feedback left and right, and I was looking for it too. I was going to see so many coaches, so many people, so many friends, anyone I could have a conversation with, I would ask their opinion. But the problem with that is too much is like not enough. When you get too much feedback, sometimes you need to really learn how to filter it. And that was hard for me because I had a vision initially. And the more I started derailing from that vision and listening to all kinds of different, and they're not bad, it's not bad advice, but it's just listening to too much, let me go in too many different directions. That's when I became indecisive and I felt like my passion was being killed. My vision was being killed. I was killing it with listening to some people who said, go the safe way, Miriam. That speech is good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be great. But my heart was telling me something else. And I remember one day I woke up, literally woke up out of my sleep and said, I'm going to write a whole different speech and I'm going back to my original vision. I only had a vision at this point. And it was August 4th, I remember, or August 2nd, around that time, at between 2 and 4 in the morning. I woke up and I started all over again. I said, I'm going to follow my heart, follow my instinct. So learning to manage feedback. My point number 2 is learning to focus not on yourself, but rather on the audience. Now, if I had focused more on the audience, I know I would have done so much better. And I got that advice so often. So for my semifinal speech, I remember walking towards the room to compete. And I was repeating that, and we have it on video. My friend was filming me. I was sick. I got sick in the Bahamas. So I was focusing on, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I have sniffles. I'm going to sneeze. Or what if I cough on stage? What if I pass out? And my friend said, stop focusing on yourself. Focus on the message you're going to deliver. And I repeated these sentences that I learned from top tier coaches, world champions, is don't think of the messenger, think of the message. And I was repeating also, somebody in my audience needs to hear my message. Somebody in my audience needs hope today. And I change lives one speech at a time. And putting that focus away from myself and onto the audience put me in a better state because I forgot about my nervosity, my issues, what I felt like I wanted to say or how I wanted to sound or come across. And that gives so much more of a genuine and authentic vibe on stage. And I remember one of my coaches, a couple of days before the world competition, he said, Miriam, let me tell you something. Who you are when you're on stage, when you're speaking on stage, who you are will shine brighter than what you say. No matter what you say, people will see right through you. And he said, so be authentic, be genuine, and be true to yourself, and let people see who you are. So I thought of that and thought that is the best advice I'd ever gotten. So focusing on the audience and not on ourselves. Point number 3 is that one I struggled so much with, and I'm actually happy I'm sharing this with you. It's keep writing. So I don't know if some of you here, maybe you've gone through this writer's block, paralysis. I don't know what to write. I don't know if I have a story. I don't even know where to start. That was me literally 2 weeks before my competition. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to write. And I remember a friend of mine said, Miriam, just write anything. The process, writing is a process. Understanding that writing is a process, that there will be days where you will feel, or moments where you will feel more inspired, moments where you will feel less inspired. There were moments throughout this competition and my journey where I absolutely hated my speech. I couldn't even look at it anymore. But that was part of the writing process, to keep editing, to keep tweaking. And when you start writing, it's not about starting with a perfect speech. It's you need to start to get a somewhat of a perfect speech. And so it starts with writing out your thoughts. Maybe you need to clear your mind, even if it has nothing to do with your message or your story. To write, to let whatever is on your mind out on paper, clear it, and the inspiration will come. And I remember after I took her advice, I went to Verity Price, one of my other coaches, and I said, Verity, I did a story dump and I just wrote everything. And here I have a document. It's 3,500 words. So she looked at it and said, what? How am I going to read all that? So she went through 3,500 words and I had to bring it down to 600 and something within a couple of days. But that really helped me, because all the wisdom, all the inspiration the ideas were coming out as I kept writing. So keep writing. Don't get discouraged. Remember that it is a process. Point number 4, I mentioned that in almost all my meetings, and I swear that this is probably the most effective point of everything. This has helped me so much, not just in competing, but it helped me in my life in general. It's visualizing. To visualize. I used to visualize. As the moment I open my eyes, I visualize myself on that stage. I visualize my day. I visualize how I'm going to get inspired to write. When I went to bed, I would visualize, and little secret that I'm going to share with you, I would speak out loud and I would say, and the world champion of public speaking of 2023 is Miriam Ghani. I just didn't visualize number 1, but I was always repeating that. And not only just that, it's not about visualizing us, what we look like and what we want. I visualized how I wanted my audience to feel, how they responded to my message, how they responded, how they reacted. I visualized them laughing, having fun. I visualized my confidence and connection with the audience. I didn't even know at that point what I was going to say, but the vision is all I needed. So your vision is all you need to start writing a speech. Before writing, I would say visualize what feel you want, what tone do you want that speech to give off, and what message are you trying to communicate on an emotional level, to visualize your feelings and your connection with that audience. So visualization, that was number 1 for me. Point number 5, humor. I know it's a big thing. I spoke about it with Harriet too. Harriet is very funny. She doesn't think she is, but she is, in my opinion, very funny naturally. But sometimes it's hard to uncover humor naturally in a speech and not make it look forced, right? And make sure that it lands. So I focused on a couple of techniques. I can name you a couple that I used in my speech. So the straw speech, I used sarcasm. So when I spoke about my diagnosis, that I started to lose my eyesight, the doctor was kind of rude in giving me the delivering the message. I asked the audience, I said, have you ever been told in tough times to think positive? And I didn't expect them to laugh, but they actually found it funny because it's sarcastic and it breaks tension. So I believe that humor is meant to break tension, especially if you're delivering a speech or a story or an experience that is emotional, deep, and maybe if you feel like it's heavy, like in my case, it was a tragedy. Okay, I'm losing my sight, but I always look at things from a funny and humorous perspective. How can I break that tension, make the audience feel comfortable with my diagnosis, going through my experience? I wanted to use humor for that. And two other techniques that I used, one of them is called self-deprecation. And I remember working with a very successful comedian, stand-up comedian here in Montreal. He coached me a couple of days before, of weeks before my competition. And he said, Miriam, self-deprecation is the most powerful tool for humor. So that means self-referring, so laughing at oneself, not to bring ourselves down, but to kind of make fun of our clumsiness or of the things that we do. In my case, I used it in the straw speech as well. I was saying, I bumped into a mannequin and guess what? And then I said, sorry, even though I knew it was a mannequin. I said, I sat on someone's lap at the theater. And I also used another technique called puns. So puns is perfect example is when I said, I went on a date, a blind date. So pun intended. That was a pun. I would say using that technique, you don't need to force the technique. You don't need to use it. But if there's space for you to use it, if you see that it can naturally be done, in my case, it was too easy. I had to use it, then absolutely go for it. But try to, the way I see a speech in general, even with You Have No Idea, my final speech, is start off strong. Start off with something either right off the bat funny or get right into the story, and then get to the dramatic part or the part that's going up in emotions where the conflict is starting. And as soon as you get to the conflict, break that tension with humor. And I did this up and down in my speech. I tried to go up and down in terms of breaking tension, adding humor, going back to emotions, breaking tension. So I thought this was a good mix to kind of take and that's the feedback I got, is I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride. And when you do that, you automatically catch people's attention and you become more likable, and the audience will absolutely love it because everybody loves humor. Everybody loves to laugh. There's so many other humor techniques. I know in favor of time, I can't share them all, but please don't hesitate if you have questions afterwards. I'm going to give it a last one because I love this one. This one really worked out. Is surprise. And it's kind of when you're taking someone into a direction, but then you completely go in another direction and surprise them. For example, in my You Have No Idea, I said, my father speaks Arabic, because I said, I first used exaggeration. I said, have you ever felt like your parents and you come from different planets? My father and I, different galaxies. So I exaggerated. The exaggeration is another trick for humor. Then I said, he speaks Arabic, I speak millennial. So they did not expect that. They expected me to say I speak English or I speak French, but I took them on a complete other direction. That's another really powerful tool for humor. Now that was point number 5. I'm going to move on to point number 6. This one is very tricky. And
quickly before you move on to number 6, I was supposed to announce colors. So we're currently on red.
Okay, great. So actually I have 2 left. Yeah, I'm going to do this really quick. Thank you so much. So point number 6 is to study your speech. Studying your speech means knowing your speech beyond the words. I'll give you an example so we can cut that quickly. In my straw speech, I said 3 words and I spent almost a whole evening on these 3 words with my coach. Even through, it was that blue sky is always there for you to see, even through challenges, disappointments, or losses. And I remember my coach said, what does each word mean to you, Miriam? Each word has an emotion behind it. It's not about saying the words, it's about feeling the words. So when you say challenges, how does that make you feel? I said frustrated. He said, okay, I want to see the frustration I want to hear the frustration in your voice. When you say losses, what does that remind you of? I said, losing someone. He said, so how would that sound like? I said, well, it sounds like losses. And he said, exactly, that's how you're supposed to deliver. So studying your speech, knowing what the meaning behind your words, having a structured speech, beginning, middle, and end, and also looking, and that's one, I really want to share that tool with you, is watching your speech on mute. Can you tell a story without hearing yourself? Can you see yourself telling a story? Do you understand? Can someone understand what you're trying to say if they're watching you on mute? And point number 7, I'm going to wrap it up quickly. That one is very simple. be yourself. Be yourself, be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be who you are, to show who you are, because people want to relate to you. They want to see the human in you. And to finish off, I like to remind you that if you've ever hesitated to compete, ever hesitated to take that step, to follow your dream, to try, remember that trying is your trophy, that you're already a champion if you take that step forward, and that you have no idea how impactful your story can be. Back to you.
No words to match this. Thank you, Toastmaster Miriam Danny. There is no other way to put this. I have a long list, but I'll just call upon DTM Chidi Chukwudimadu to do us the honors, take questions and any feedback that she has. Thank you so much.
Thank you very kindly, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And I want to sincerely appreciate Toastmaster Miriam for taking the time. Like, I have a full note, page upon page of my thoughts. I could see a lot of people writing. Like, this was a masterclass in itself. And thank you very much for taking the time to train us on how to be a champ. And I particularly love how you ended. Like, trying is your trophy. You're already a champion. Once you show up, you're a champion. And then when you actually try and participate, whatever trophy, that trying is a trophy. So whether or not you end up on the podium, that's like an added advantage. And I could just imagine the feeling of you in that plane. I wish I was there. I was already imagining, I was visualizing myself in your place in that plane. This is a nugget loaded session, and we appreciate you for taking time to just share your journey with us this afternoon. So for Toastmasters, we have the next 10 minutes for questions. If anyone has a question to ask, please indicate by raising your hand. If you do not want to speak, feel free to use the chat box to drop your question. And I have my first question here. All right, Toastmaster Vibuda, you have a question. Please go ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I do have a question. So our keynote speaker told something about using including humor, right? So if you are making, if you were to compete in humorous speech contest, and if you were to like make fun of your pain, so can that be considered as humor, or can you just give a small description on that?
Yes. So do you have an idea what you would make fun of? Example, can you give me an idea? Do you have something in mind?
So for example, in these sushi restaurants, there is this wasabi. It's very, spicy, So the color is green, and green means this. So I ate this thinking that this will be solution to all my pain or something like that.
I love this. There's so much humor to be, and I'm sure Harriet would agree with that. Yes, I think there's absolutely 100% so much. There's so much humor right there. You can actually write a whole page on that, I think. Yes, so turning your, maybe I would say if self-deprecation is to what makes you make that mistake? What is behind it? Is it something in your character, in your personality? Because, for example, I'm a clumsy person, whether I can see or not. So I always made fun of my clumsiness. You're reminding me, one day I was on a date, and long time ago with my first boyfriend in Germany, he brought me to a walking sushi restaurant. And I swear to you, I don't know how it happened, but the chopsticks flew out of my hands and they went on someone else's table. And that's because I'm so clumsy. So maybe you can say something like, talk about your character. Of course, the type of person that I am, I'm going to go for the wasabi thinking it's going to cure all my solutions. But to do it in a, kind of like using a pun maybe, or using exaggeration, that could be a good technique for you to use, or sarcasm. Yeah, I think that would be great.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on exaggeration? Just a
lot more than you thought.
Sorry?
All right. Please, if you're not speaking, just make sure your mic is muted. We do not want any distractions. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much. I have a question in the chat. Just we'll just take maybe 2 or 3 more questions, and that'll be it because we are want of time. Musumola has a question, and she says, what advice would you give to someone who is trying to work on their public speaking skills generally?
I would say work on in increments. So every day do something small. And it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. I think it's very important to my mentor gave me something. I love this trick. I love it, love it, love it. He said, count from 1 to 20, but do it in complete different tones and using different emotions. So kind of like 1, 2, 3, and he said you can exaggerate. He said you're gonna look a bit crazy, but it's okay. You're gonna be by yourself. You could do it in front of the mirror, and that's one way to work on your delivery every day. I would say get resources, look at previous champions. I was a student for 1.5 years before I even competed. I was just observing. I was observing people getting coached. I was observing those who already been there, done that, and trying to get as many resources as possible before I even made the step. So that was part of the process. So keep consuming like a student. That's what I would say. And watching other people do it. I hope that answers your question. I'm trying to answer quickly.
Yeah, that answers the question for me. Thank you very much. All right. Vrinda has a question on the chat, and she says, what's the trick to prevent your speech to sound too rehearsed and mechanical?
I love that one. So, okay, I have a quick story about this one. So I had rehearsed my semifinal so much because it was the whole year that I was working on it, right? So I got to the point where when I asked my comedian friend to come help me, he said, okay. He took a piece of paper, he started taking notes, said, I want to hear you, So as soon as I finished my speech, he said, can I be honest? I said, absolutely be honest. He said, you sounded like a Disney character, like a cartoon. And I almost expected you to start singing in any second. And I remember even Harriet once, and I love that advice. I'm so happy she told me that. She said, Miriam, your speech is so powerful, yet I felt no emotions. I felt nothing. I'm supposed to cry. I'm supposed to laugh. So there's something wrong with it. And I remember thinking that is because I over-rehearsed it. And now I'm running on autopilot. I just feel like a robot delivering my speech. So the trick that I got from that comedian turned my speech upside down. I tell you, the next day I delivered it to a club, and my friend was there, and she said, I don't know what you did to the speech, but it sounds completely different, yet it was the same speech. So the trick he gave me is, Miriam, you need to deconstruct yourself and he said it in French, and he said, salir ton texte. So make your text, dirty your text a little bit. That means adding little sounds, reactions between your words, between your sentences, to look more natural, to look more spontaneous, and to look more authentic, more genuine. So don't memorize each word as is. Try to have sounds in between, reactions, movements, so you could look a little bit more natural. And deconstruct yourself, meaning tell your speech from a whole different tone of voice. Don't repeat the same tone. It's not a rehearsal. It needs to be natural. So that would be the way to do it. Deconstruct yourself and dirty your speech, add some filler, not filler words, but filler sounds, something like, when the doctor, I'm going to give you a quick example. When the doctor said, you're losing your sight, he said, getting around by yourself, difficult. I didn't have all these little sounds in between. I said, getting around is going to become difficult. So this sounds very rehearsed, but if you add these little things in between, you make it sound more natural.
Awesome. Thank you very much for those responses. Toastmaster Craig, you have a question? Oh.
Of course. I have a question. I have watched Mariam's speech a plethora of times on YouTube, and equally listened to a plethora of our interviews, even with Patricia as well. I love that part in the speech, that dialogue where you said, Mimi, never do this again. You have no idea how much I love you. you did it with so much of perfection. There was perfection in the way you delivered that line. And I was wondering what you did to deliver it with that type of perfection on the world stage.
I love that question. Oh my God, I'm telling you, you're seeing right through me. So this is so simple. I did not even overthink it one single bit. I have a couple of previous champions who wrote to me right after, and one of them said, I adored your how you imitated your father, because I was asking them, I said, tell me what I could have done better to get the first place. I was already thinking of that the second I was getting off the competition. So he said, the imitation of your dad, how did you make it so real? And to be honest with you, I imitated my dad exactly how he is. I did not feel embarrassed, shy. I did not censor it. I just was the most authentic. This is because I know my dad. You probably know your father, your husband, your wife, you know them. So imitate them if you're talking about them in your speech exactly how they are, and you will not even have to think of how to perfect it. It's just by being completely true, completely genuine. And another thing is sometimes it's hard to translate because he speaks Arabic to me. So it's hard to translate. When you translate it in English, sometimes the sentence doesn't make sense. I didn't change that. I spoke like he spoke, with the bad grammar sometimes he has, that he uses the wrong words. I kept it the way it was so it could be so genuine. This is exactly what he would say to me. And he would say it with such anger to me, like, he's so frustrated. You have no idea how much I love you, he gets so mad. And that's exactly how I wanted it to come across. So to not be afraid to really be as genuine and open as possible. I really hope that that answered or that helped you.
Absolutely. Thanks much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miriam. So last question. I know we're lack of time, but this very last question, because I know this is going to help everyone. It's from Deborah. And she asked, what's the one thing you would advise against in the speech?
Against?
Yes.
Oh, I wish I knew, because if I knew, I would have done it. I would have done it myself. I think there are no mistakes. You just keep learning, and there's different things work for different people. Jocelyn Tyson's speech worked for her. It might have not worked for me. My speech worked for me, might have not worked for her. There are no real mistakes. The only thing I would advise, really advise against, is don't try to fit into a mold, or don't think that there is a formula, because there really isn't. I realize there really isn't. There's no formula. There's no do this, you're gonna win, do that. There are techniques that will 100% make your speech more powerful, your writing more powerful, your delivery, but it's so many variables put together that can create this whole experience. So never think or believe that there is a formula. Don't let anyone sell you that. In my opinion, this is my humble opinion. I think just give, and I'll leave you off on that. I'll end it on that. Yesterday, I heard this amazing quote that I really want to share with you. And a coach said, to get everything you want, you need to give everything you have. And if you've given everything you have, then you've done everything right. No mistakes.
Thank you so much. This, like I said, has been a masterclass. Miriam, on behalf of Learntor Toastmasters and all the Toastmasters from across the universe who is in this meeting, thank you for this incredible masterclass. Thank you for teaching us. You have shared with us, there's been wisdom and a lot of smart insights into how to truly speak, write, and carry ourselves as champs. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I've written a whole lot, and I know that a lot of us have also taken a lot of notes from the presentation, from the questions that you answered, and I assure you we're going to incorporate this. I know I'm going to incorporate it. I'm sure others are going to. I want to say that this masterclass has been nothing short of a magnum opus of mastering the art of speaking and acting, being a charm. Thank you for being a beacon of brilliance and being with us this afternoon. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Madam Toastmaster of the day. I think we're done. If anyone has any other question, can you please, you can just put it on the chat. Would, well, promise to take it, we'll share with Miriam. And when the responses come back, we will share it with you during our next club meeting. All right. Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you. We appreciate you. Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Chidi, for handling that session. Please, everybody on this call, unmute yourself. There's a reason why I'm saying this. Unmute yourself and give the loudest shout to Toastmaster Miriam Gani. I need her to hear your voice right now. I need her to hear your wows. I need her to hear your excellence. Please unmute yourself and let's hear it.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you.
Thank you. So, trying is a trophy. That's the highlight of this for me. Trying is a trophy. Hold your trophy as we go through the end of this year. And I assure you, 2024 is going to be amazing. On that note, I welcome DTM Anya, our general evaluator, to take us through, to pull in her team and take us through the evaluation sessions for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What an amazing meeting. I'm so glad I was here and so blessed to hear you again, Miriam. I watched you at the International Speech Contest and so glad you were here and were able to share this with this club. I ask everybody to be really, really fast on their evaluations because we are running almost a half an hour behind our meeting time. So I'll call on the speech evaluator, Learntor, please, to give the speech evaluation of our first speaker, Olusola.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Toby, has introduced, and thank you to Miriam for the wonderful session just held. So I'm providing evaluation for Toastmaster Olushola for level 3 of the persuasive influence part. Okay, so I commend Toastmaster Olushola for giving us a whip smart speech. Olushola excelled, has given us a captivating introduction that kept me interested in listening. He mentioned a captivating statement, a world where people demand than give. He had a fantastic storyline depicting the speech title. And I had a passionate description of Ngozi's enviable characteristics and leadership skills, such as people orientation, listening abilities, and lots more. This gave me an idea of some of the actions required to create a good impression as a leader. He also had a clear camera view, good speech space, tone, vocal variety, as well as focus on the camera. So we were able to capture that as high contact. He had a good structure from introduction to body to conclusion, and he had an impressive delivery. I recommend that Olushola can work more on a larger camera capture to make his body gestures more visible to the virtual audience. So I understand if it was a physical environment, it would have been more obvious. So I could only see part of his hands at intervals. So it can be better with a broader view. Okay. Also, I recommend a more detailed description of the impact of Ngozi's actions, some of the challenges he experienced, how he maneuvered. That would have given me a better persuasion of Ngozi's story and actions he took to manage crisis. I love the quote he used towards the end of the speech. Leadership is not about title and positions or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another by the popular author and leadership coach, John Maxwell. And I love his action point challenge. Let your influence shine forth. So this delivered the message that leadership is surely about influence, impact, impression, how we make people feel through our actions. Thank you for driving this home. And so I challenge you, of course, to give us more speeches, and we look forward to having you at the next meeting again. Over to you. our general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I agree, Oloruntobi, a wonderful speech. A couple of suggestions that I have for you as well, Olusula. First of all, your lighting. It's almost a little bit too bright, so I would work on your lighting. And also in the background, you have a date. I would make sure that when you do a speech, have the correct date there. It looks like a little calendar underneath your tree picture. Otherwise, very well done. And Oloruntobi, great evaluation. I would just suggest maybe to, at the end of your evaluation, sum it up quickly again. That would be my only suggestion, but I always love when we get really positive evaluations, but also when the evaluator gives great growth points, and you did that. So our next a part of the evaluation team is our grammarian, and can we please get a grammarian report from Craig?
Speakers used expressions that were as dazzling as a diamond. It is grammatically whip smart to begin with the report regarding the word of the day. Madam General Evaluator used it thrice, Olushola thrice, Pamela twice, Toyin in the chat channel once, Theophilus thrice, Musimola once, Elizabeth once, Oloruntobi once. DTM Chidi used it the most, 7 whopping times. Congratulations for that. Let me now delve into how we used the language in our communication today. I would like to commend Pamela's pronunciation of the word potential. That is pristine pronunciation. 2 words were improperly pronounced today. The first one is, one speaker said turmoil, that ought to be turmoil. And the second one speaker did say gestures. It is gestures. That's the correct pronunciation. I heard, can I be heard? Am I being heard? These are passive sentence structures. Let's make these sentence structures active. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I was mesmerized by Chidi's use of this phrase. Thank you for being a beacon of brilliance. This is a magnificent metaphorical expression. Last but not least, I'd like to commend Toastmaster Gani for her use of that phrase, trying is your trophy. This phrase is endearing because it is a quintessential example of a figurative device in English known as non-consecutive alliteration. Non-consecutive alliteration. And because you did it that way, it's memorable. Madam General Evaluator, I am completely enthralled by our use of the language today. And at this point, it is whip smart to relinquish the reins to you.
Well, I'm so glad that I have such a whip smart team this morning with our evaluator and grammarian so far. So now I'll call on our accounder to see how we did with our filler words. Abraham.
Thank you so much, the General Evaluator. All our speakers today are whip smart. We did so well. I will start by stating some of the overuse of interjections, inappropriate interjections, and also sound fillers. TM Musumola used sound fillers about 4 times. So, mostly. TM Pamela used sound fillers two times. TM Priya used sound fillers 9 times during the course of the meeting. TM Salamatu used sound fillers once. TM Haya used sound fillers twice. DTM Chidi, he used sound fillers once, and he used, once. TM Miriam, he used sound fillers 13 times. TM Oloruntoba used sound fillers 10 times, so her 10 times. TM Vibhuda used sound fillers 13 times. TM Yusuf used inappropriate interjections once. Overall, all our speakers are whip smart, and I will encourage us to continue in this light and also improve further. Thank you for having me. Back to the general evaluator.
Thank you very much, Abraham. And now I will turn it over to our listener for today, Deborah.
Thank you, General Evaluator. This meeting has obviously been a whip smart and a very insightful meeting. And remember at the beginning, I said that listening is a sign of respect to the speakers. So I'm going to be asking some questions to see if we were actually listening. And if you were listening, you could just unmute yourself and give the answers. Toastmaster Olushola, while delivering his speech, gave a very interesting quote by John Maxwell. And that quote says, leadership is not about titles, positions, or flow charts. It is about dash. Anybody? Okay, to save us the time, it is about
the impacts we make.
One life influencing another. Thank you for that try. Okay, during the table topic session, Toastmaster Chidi DTM said he likes the table topic session because
he's in charge.
In charge. Okay, thank you. And Toastmaster Yusuf, while giving his table topics, said something about his very interesting recipe and said that the soup is made from something.
Beef.
Soup is made from red beans. Okay. And finally, who can tell me what the 5th point in Toastmaster Miriam Gani's masterclass for helping us curate a very good speech? What was her 5th point?
Humor. Adding humor. Sarcasm.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So it goes to show that we're good listeners and we have been very respectful to our speakers this afternoon. Thank you so much. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you for those great questions. And now we turn it over to our timer, TM Priya. Can you please give us your timers report?
Good evening, everyone. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
So this is my timer report. The good thing we started on time sharp at 1500. The SAA TM Salamata had conveyed his speech for 6 minutes. And then we had the introduction that also went on time. The next section where the general evaluator introduced the role players. The entire session went for 13 minutes, where each of the speakers spoke for the appropriate 1 or 2 minutes. While going to the prepared section, we already faced a delay by 5 minutes. We started the session at 15:30. The evaluator spoke for 2 minutes, and then the speaker, Toastmaster Ursula, spoke for 5 minutes and 40 seconds. He was on time for the 5 to 7 minutes prepared speech. The next section is the table topic session. We started at 15:45, which was a delay by 10 minutes. And the overall session shooted by 10 minutes extra, which means we finished at 16:15. So this I am telling in comparison with the agenda that we had and the time that was written. The next session was the masterclass, the training session. We started at 16:16. It was a delay start by 15 minutes. And TM Mariam spoke for 23 minutes, exceeded the time by 8 minutes. But it was a very useful session. So that was good there. And then the Q&A session again went for 15 minutes. So overall, we had a delay by 30 minutes. And finally, the evaluation session, which was supposed to start at 16:30, has started at 16:56, which is a delay start by 26 minutes. We had the evaluator for the first speaker for 2 minutes. Grammarian Toastmaster Craig took 2 minutes. Toastmaster Abraham took 2 minutes, and the listening evaluator Toastmaster Deborah again spoke for 2 minutes. Overall, the timers report, I'd like to say that the good things are that the meeting went on time. Each of the speakers, everyone spoke well. But the one thing that could have improved is, like, when there is a delay, the Toastmaster of the day could have, cut down the time in each of the sessions so that we can avoid the overall delay for the meeting. So that's for the timers report. Thank you for the opportunity, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Priya. I've never seen such a complete and wonderful timing report. That was well done. Well, I knew I have a whip smart team here. So a couple of things from my point of view. I really, really enjoyed being here in the meeting. It was lots of fun and also great speakers. I enjoyed the first speech, and I enjoyed your table topics. I will try and look up the rendang Indonesian meal now and cook it, because I had an Indonesian meal when I was in Amsterdam and I really enjoyed it. If the Buddha had told me about India before, I would definitely have made plans to go there. But before you told us that, I'm planning to go to India next year. But I'm now really looking forward to it, and I'm going to contact the Buddha to be my travel guide. Overall, wonderful meeting. Miriam, great suggestions in your speech. Thank you so much for coming and teaching this. This was amazing. I really, really enjoyed that. A couple of things that I would suggest so that we don't go over time overall in your meeting would be maybe cut down your introduction of each Toastmaster a little bit and just give really high, like the quick points of each, so that, because in the evaluation part, that took quite a bit of time, I thought. And also make sure that your agenda is right, because in your agenda it said as a timer DTM Harriet, and so I started reading her introduction when it was actually Priya. So just make sure that the preparations are done right and stick a little bit more to your timing. The Toastmaster of the day, a couple of times we got out of the meeting. So maybe if you have issues with your internet, have a backup for that person, so somebody can just go on while you reconnect, so that the meeting goes on, so somebody can take over for you. Overall, I think it was a really, really well-run meeting. I appreciate being here as your evaluator, and I'd be happy to come back anytime and help you when I can. And also, I would like to invite you to my club. So I am in the midst of chartering a Resilient Entrepreneurs Club that meets in Canadian time on Thursday morning. I'll put a link in the chat, and I would really appreciate if I could have a couple of evaluators this coming Thursday. So it starts at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. And we have a speakathon, and the speakathon is all about pieces of advice that can change your life. So most of our Toastmasters are in the advanced stage of their life, and we want to just give great pieces of advice to the younger Toastmasters. So hopefully we can draw a good audience for that, and hopefully you can help us and be a speech evaluator. And back to you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Toastmaster Aya, we couldn't wish for a better general evaluator. But I want to point this out quickly. I want to hype your team. So you had a fantastic team. Guess what had happened? Toastmaster Abraham, how were you able to count 13 hours and 10 hours? You did a meticulous job. Toastmaster Craig came with non-consecutive alliteration. You know how you do it, the champion. Toastmaster Deborah came with specific quotes for listening, and Toastmaster Priya knocked it out of the park with the juxtaposition of the agenda and the time. I've never seen this before. I need to welcome you, to find you and bring you to a meeting. You did a fantastic job. Thank you so much, the General Evaluation team. I will call upon the president of this club, Toastmaster Elizabeth Iwoha, to take us home with her closing remarks, share announcements, and take us out of this meeting. Thank you so much. It was a great honor and pleasure to come all the way from Sunshine Toastmasters Club, Akure, to be the TMOD of this meeting. Over to you, Madam President of Soft Life Day. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly, Madam TMOD, our one and only Soft Life Gang member. Thank you for such a whip smart delivery of your role. And to everyone who has played a role in this meeting, thank you so kindly, Madam General Evaluator. I would really say that this is what we call Toastmasters International Meeting, having people from different continents coming to this meeting, not just only being present here, but delivering speeches and sharing knowledge about things that they know or sharing to impact our lives. Thank you, really, really. We appreciate you all. Toastmaster Miriam, we appreciate you for being here with us. Thank you for taking this time to share your knowledge with us. It means so much. Like Toastmaster Lushala said in his speech, leadership is not about the title. Winning a speech is not just about getting that title, but sharing this knowledge with other people. And you have chosen to come to Learntor today, taking this time to share this knowledge with us. We sincerely do appreciate you, and we appreciate all that you have taught us. We're going to reach out to you again if we have questions, like you have stated on the chat room. Thank you so kindly. I would especially like to recognize the presence of our area director who is in this meeting, Area 17, Toastmaster Yusuf Akbeno. Thank you for joining us and for being here with us, for showing your presence, the fatherly presence. Thank you so kindly. Thank you, everyone that has been here. Our guests that are joining us for the first time, thank you. After this meeting, we would have a session with our Vice President membership to put you through on what Toastmasters is all about. So please wait behind. I'd just like to share some announcements with us before we call the meeting to a close. December 9th, which is on Saturday, would be the Division F end of the year outing. This is going to be a beach hangout where all members of Division F are encouraged to be in attendance. It's a time to network and meet with other members of the division. So please be in attendance and make sure that we are there. If you have questions about it, reach out to me or the Vice President membership. I especially want to announce to us that a member of our club who went for the division table topic contest came as a champion of Division F. So I would like us to please spotlight DTM Harriet as we all celebrate her for coming first at the division level in the 2023 table topics contest. DTM Harriet, are you still on the call? Please, can we appreciate DTM Harriet?
Yes, I'm here.
She came first. Oh, congratulations, DTM Harriet. We're
Congratulations,
really proud
more
of
wins.
Congratulations. Thank you for doing this for the club. And thank you for bringing Miriam as well, because you are the one who made this possible. We appreciate you for doing that for us. On December 17th will be our last meeting for the year 2023, which will equally be our year-end party and exchange of gifts. Toastmasters is not just about speeches. It's also about celebrating ourselves. It's a time when we come together to celebrate each other for the network that we have built this year. You don't want to miss our end of the year party. It's always fun. It's the first time though, but it's always fun, whatever we do at Learntor. So if you want to be part of this, the hall would only take 20 persons. It's a physical hangout. If you want to be part of it, please reach out to me or the Vice President membership, and we'll take note of those who would be in attendance. These are the announcements from my end for us. our Toastmaster of the month is not here at the meeting, but would like to recognize Toastmaster of the month of December. We'll share her video on all social media platforms so you can see who she is. That is our immediate past president, Toastmaster Mercy George-Igbafe. She's the Toastmaster of the month of December for Learntor. Coincidentally, today is her birthday. This video is live. She's going to watch it. Please, I want us to just take 1 second, every one of us here, 1 second to say happy birthday to Toastmaster Mercy. Can we all do this together? Happy birthday, Toastmaster. Happy birthday to you, Mercy. We appreciate all you're doing.
Mercy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So from my end, this is it. Want to say thank you, everyone, for joining this meeting. And I would like to leave us with this quote by Toastmaster Miriam. I would like to remind us. She said, to get everything you want, we need to give everything that we have. We're all here to learn. Give whatever you can give, wherever you find yourself, and make the best of what you have. If you have the skill of service, look out for clubs and volunteer, play roles, give speeches, serve as an officer. It is the way that you're going to get the best of what you want. And in this season of love as well, take time to show love to other people by giving what you have. Thank you. And I would like to officially ask that 2 persons should please call for adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
I move that this meeting should be adjourned until next time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Craig. Thank you.
I second the motion to adjourn the meeting by Toastmaster Craig. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you. And the meeting is officially over till December 17th. Thank you, everyone, and see you on December 17th. To our guests in the house, please wait behind. Thank you. Thank you. If you are not a Toastmaster as a guest, please wait behind. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful meeting. I learned
you.
a lot and completely enjoyed. I look
Thank
forward
you,
to joining
Toastmaster
you again.
Thank
You
you.
have a very
Thank you for
beautiful smile,
joining.
Toastmaster Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll find you. We will find you. You were so amazing today. Thank you. I learned a lot. I'm going to have timers. In fact, I'll have chats in my next meeting when I play time. But thank you so much. That was fantastic. Thank you.